feel I have to like give myself a little bit more time because sometimes I just come over and I start talking before I even get to like facing the camera. Then I'm like, well, now I just look weird. Um, but one thing that I feel like never gets enough like appreciation when it comes to Intel graphics cards is the ability to run local AI through Intel's AI Playground. This was something that I happened to stumble across on a YouTube video a while ago, and I kind of played around with it. It was pretty neat. But I feel like AI, local AI, anyways, is starting to have like a bigger appeal to people. So maybe other people also don't know that you can run Intel's AI Playground as long as you're running an Intel graphics card. This one happens to be the A770. It's 16 gigs of VRAM, so we kind of want as much VRAM as possible for this. But with Intel's AI Playground, you can run a lot of the UIs from Comfy UI and have them run locally without internet once they're all downloaded and everything like that. And it actually makes the process super easy. So we're going to hop into a little Intel's AI Playground and show you what it's all about. Okay, so here we are in Intel's AI Playground. Now with this, we can do chat, where you ask it questions. It'll generate image. It can edit said images, and it can generate videos. In chat, say, was the first year of the Honda Civic. So right now it's running it through Quent 3. First year of the Honda Civic was 1973, introduced as a compact car, became one of the most successful and influential vehicles in automotive history. How do I make an apple pie? And here we go. It's fairly quick too. I mean, running through all that gives us all of this just like that. I don't know if how crazy it can go. I've never asked it to make me a website or an app or anything along those lines, but I do think it's just neat that you can have this running locally on your computer with no internet, nothing like that. Now we're 9.9% max content used, input, output. Honestly, I don't know if once we run out of that, do we just have to restart the computer? But so far so good. If we want to make an image, a red 1995 Honda Civic hatchback, because I used to have one of those, and it was a great car, and I loved it. I tested the Honda Civic question the first time because I've ran through a couple of these different models, and one of them was like the first year for the Honda Civic was like 1996, and I know that's not true because I owned 80s and 90s Civics. All right, so obviously that's not a Honda Civic. It's close. It's got the right headlights. It's kind of got like a four-door bumper on it. I don't know how many lug nuts that is down there. It's not so much the hatchback version. And then these lights here only came on like the Euro spec and like the Japanese spec. So something tells me, that whoever created this was overseas. But there's all kinds of different settings. You can do a bunch of these different styles of images and a bunch of different, this is using Flux 2. Klein. You can adjust your ratios, things like that. If you wanted to make a 16:9 for like a thumbnail or something along those lines. Let's do that now. A YouTube thumbnail for a video about Intel Arc Yep. So We're doing a YouTube video thumbnail about Intel Arc graphics cards. Do I think that it'll know what I'm talking about? Probably not. But is this a good way to like dip your toes into making AI generated stuff and like learning the basics of you running a local AI? So, yeah, this is what we got. Intel Arc Graphics card. Yeah, clearly these are not graphics cards. None of this. That spells Intel, that spells Arc, but that is the only correct spelling word. But it did make a 16 by 9 photo. Maybe we run this as the thumbnail for this video. That's pretty great. We'll just let AI do all of this for us. Now, when it comes to video generation, the video generation is pretty bad. I think it only goes up to like 10 seconds at whatever resolutions, and depending on your resolution, it goes even shorter time. Riding a Harley Davidson in the mountains. I'm gonna click go, and we'll see how long this takes. And sometimes I always wonder if, like, when I use stuff like Harley Davidson, does it know what I'm talking about? Is it gonna be somebody riding a horse? Like not anything related to motorcycles. I feel like your prompts have to be relatively specific. Oh, it's generating. We're gonna see how great of an AI video this can be. All right, so we got a 3-second video that looks like it was filmed on a potato of not a Harley Davidson, but it at least understood that it was a motorcycle that we were asking for. But with some fine tuning, could you make better prompts? Could you do ultra realistic? I think if you come into like some of these kinds of things and you kind of define your prompts a little bit better. So ultra realistic picture of a man riding a Harley Davidson in the mountains. Let's see what it comes up with. All right, so that actually looks a lot better. It actually looks like a Harley. It looks like the lowrider. The proportions are pretty well. The wheels are spinning, but he's definitely, if them wheels are spinning, he's going off the road. It looks like he has an eye patch on. So, but this is actually getting a lot better once you start giving it better prompts. And I think this is one of those things that people can really learn from, where you can learn to, the better your prompt is, the better your outcome's going to be. And I think that the AI playground, it's just not talked about enough. I would only have stumbled across this because of a YouTube video. But until people know, like, hey, I can do all kinds of these, different AI things from my computer that I can also game on. There's a little bit better of a picture. This one's actually riding on the road. Also looks like a lowrider again. He's got a little floating brake caliper, but and his controls are up here. Maybe those are just highway pegs. He's got mids on. It's cool, but it actually looks like a lowrider or a fat bob with that front end. But it is a little bit better. Like, this is a more realistic looking picture. But if you never knew that your Intel graphics card could do this, and you have like a kid or somebody who is wanting to learn, or you're not very tech savvy yourself and you want to get into learning local AI on a $200 16 gigs of VRAM card that's going to do well, this is a way to kind of dip your toes into that. You can come in here and you can download even more different kinds of prompts, different kinds of things. If we run this through like Pro Image 2 and run the exact same thing through Z Image Turbo, that you can get different outcomes on these things. This is just a fun way to play around with local AI, where you have that kind of pretty interface that you don't generally get when you're running something that just looks like a mess of different workflows. This has all of that built into the background. And I think that kind of makes it neat. It kind of makes it a fun way to get into running local AI, learning AI. I think this is one of those things where if you don't learn it, you're going to be left behind. As much as I don't care for AI, and I think that it ruins a lot of art aspects of things, it is something that I definitely think people need to learn. And especially like going from our first prompt to these later prompts where you're adding more information, and the more you get, that's a much better picture of what it actually looks like. It could be a photograph of somebody riding a Harley. You got the image blur, you've got the spoke blur. This actually looks like an actual motorcycle. So yeah, when you learn ways to generate your prompts, and you can do that locally on your own computer, that doesn't really take a whole lot to build. I think that's great. I think it's great for anybody that wants to learn. Now, if we go back into the chatting, we'll stick with the theme of Harleys. How do I set the valve? Whoops, I can't spell. For the push rods on in. So, asking how to set the push rods for a Harley Davidson Evo. I don't know that we'll get a great answer. Realistically, I don't know the answer. I've never set push rods on a Harley motor, but we'll see what happens. Setting the valve length of the push rod. Misconception: the valve length and push rod length are not adjusted. Well, I mean, from what I know of motors, this all looks correct. That's great. I mean, it's giving us the information that we want locally on our computer without having to be connected to the internet. So if you wanted to just have something that you could run, let's see. How is your day going? Thanks for asking. I don't have any days or physical routines. I'm always here, ready to help with any questions, big or small. So while I don't go through the day like a human, I'm continuously learning and chatting with you. How about your day? I'd love to hear about what you're up to. Look at that. I had a little friend. Let me know how I can assist you today. And little emojis and all that stuff. So look at this. This is great. This is just one of those things to where I really think learning this process and learning how to use AI, use local LLMs, getting it to do some sort of work for you can be a good thing. I don't like the artist aspect of it, of companies, not hiring actual artists to do things, or they're just getting AI to make them things. I don't care for that. But I do think learning this and learning what you can and can't do is a valuable tool to have. So what are you going to do with your Intel graphics card when an AI playground? Let me know your thoughts on it. Let me know what you think of AI, if you think it's just trash garbage that needs to burn to the ground, or if you think that there's a place for it in learning how to make apple pie and how to set push rods on a Harley motor. But Thanks for watching. I appreciate you being here. Thank you.